Hello, it's your main man, Darren M. Palmer. I appreciate you for joining the Books and Business Podcast. You could be someone who's listening into this and you're thinking to yourself, hey, with inflation, with taxes, things like that, I got to find another way. Maybe you have been furloughed. Maybe you're looking at something, hey, I've been able to have a buyout, or I'm at retirement, or I'm somebody young, or I'm out of college. I'm not having the life that I desire. Then we want you to reach out to us. We want you to find a way. We're looking for experts. We're looking for people who want to be experts in a particular field to have a profession or a career. Look at joining us. Come join us. Get your license. Join a noble industry that's making an impact and helping securing futures and helping people be protected as far as their finances and go to the next level and live the American dream. This is Darren M. Palmer with the Books and Business Podcast. Reach out to us at Prosperity Partners Agency. We would love to be able to work with you. It's your main man, Darren M. Palmer, Chief Book Officer of Self-Publishing 30 Days, and also the host of the Books and Business Podcast. You know we bring industry titans on these particular episodes to be able to let your next move be your best move. Speaking of next move, we got my main man, Tony Mack, in the building today. Tony, say hello to the people, man.
What's up, everyone? How are y'all?
Man, we're excited to have you on, Tony Mack. And for people who are not aware of you, there are some areas that we're going to go in today. I mean, I know things about you. We're going to have information in the show notes, but I like to have each guest just share a little bit about themselves, man. So if you don't mind, Tony, share with the people a little bit about you, man.
Grew up here in Dallas. Grew up in Pleasant Grove. Was getting in trouble a little bit growing up in Pleasant Grove, and then I ended up moving to Plano. Graduated from Plano West, and then at the age of 20, I discovered something that found me. Boxing found me at the age of 20, and it changed my life. Most people say that boxing take lives, but boxing saved more lives than it take. But boxing saved my life. And at the age of 20, started boxing. Most people started at a young age. I started at 20, and 3 years later made the USA team. Wow. 7 years later, fought in the Olympic trials, then turned pro after that. I didn't make the Olympic team, but I did make the U.S. national team. Turned pro as a professional fighter. I was 13, 1-1 as a professional, and started at 20, retired at the age of 30 due to detached retina. Had multiple detached retina surgeries, and forced me into retirement. Then a year later, 2016, opened my own boxing gym, and now I'm the owner of Mack Elite Training. 8 years later, if I'm doing the math right, 2016 and now. Been a successful businessman. Now I'm a boxing promoter, gym owner, head coach of the team Combat League, Dallas Enforcers. So many things I got going on now. Yes, it's a lot, man. It's a lot more, but I'm just having fun, enjoying life.
Now, you know, when I'm hearing that, and Tony, I appreciate you sharing that. And I like for each guest to be able to share this information themselves with us. And just right off the bat, I can see, Tony, when you're sharing this, the transferable skills starting to show up. Because if you don't mind, talk to us about the mindset, because there are people who are out there, and I'm talking to you right now because Tony just gave us a great example of, he started at 20 in an area that he could be viewed at and looked at as behind, left out there. There's no way. If you were going to miss that season is gone. It had passed when it came to actually embarking on a boxing career. But not only did he engage in boxing and start that journey, he was able to have success at it and able to do it at an elite level. So if you don't mind, Tony, can you share with the people, what was that mindset? How did you overcome the voices in your ear, or what others thought that had to be done for you to even be close or remotely close to being a successful boxer starting at the age of 20?
Man, I'm gonna go back. You know, my entire life I always struggled with school. I always felt like a failure. And man, I got held back in first grade 2 or 3 times. I never been to second, third, fourth, fifth grade. You know, I got held back in first grade so many times. I was struggling so much. And then my pops, he was a single man, raised me. Mom wasn't around. Whenever my mom get mad at my pops, she'll start taking me out of school and get back at him. And I missed so many pivotal moments in school where threw my learning off, and so I always struggled with learning. And so I always felt like I didn't know how to read and how to write because I always just struggled with learning, and I always felt behind. And so, man, and so just struggling with school was one of my biggest issues ever. And but then, when it come to that, I was grew up in Pleasant Grove, the Dallas DISD school district. They kind of pushed me to the side. They want to teach me anything. They labeled me mentally retarded. They said I was a high school dropout material. And then when my aunt ended up moving from Chicago to Dallas to Plano, and then next thing I was getting in trouble at Pleasant Grove. And when she moved to Plano, things happened to where I begged her to let me go to school out there because my friends was getting murdered and stuff like that. So I ended up going from Pleasant Grove, Samuel High School, walking through metal detectors, fighting every day, skipping school because I was afraid to go to school because I was just so lost. But then I'm going to Plano West where they put me in special classes to get me caught up to where I was supposed to be in school. But then I got around the right crowd, the right environment, and then not only that, that environment changed my whole aspect of life. I ended up being the first black senior class president at the Plano West High School, all white school, where I went from metal detectives at Pleasant Grove to off-campus lunch for an hour. Ended up being the first black homecoming king at Plano West High School, and that's like one of the most top schools in Dallas. And that's the environment shifted my mindset. And after I won the class president and stuff like that, I was like, if I could do that, I could do whatever in life. And then that's when I discovered boxing, and my whole life, when it comes to boxing, I sucked at football. I was not an athlete at all. And and my first cousin is Antoine Randall, played for Pittsburgh Steelers and went to IU University and stuff like that. And so my entire life, I'm back and forth from Chicago and Dallas. My pops grew up in Dallas, me in Chicago. When he moved here, my mom had me, but my whole life I've been going back and forth to Chicago, Dallas, Chicago. So when I was failing in school in elementary, he'd send me to Chicago to get caught back up, and then end up going back to Dallas, getting right back to where I was supposed to. It was just my whole school life been crazy, but I've been watching my cousin Antoine. He played at Thornton, and my whole family was entrepreneurs. My whole family was just amazing. But Antoine was the one that made it in the family because he went to Thornton and Harvey, Illinois, and then he ended up going to IU University, and he ended up being Heisman Trophy candidate and all this stuff. So I'm watching him be a superstar, how my family reacted to him and how my family just loved on him, how all the accolades he was getting from his friends. And I always wanted that, but I just couldn't play football. I couldn't play basketball. It just sucked. But then when boxing came around, when I was 20 years old, that's when I said, you know what, I'm gonna stick to this, and I'm gonna do it because I remember, I don't want to put Twan on blast. He was my biggest inspiration, but I remember we was watching Life growing up. Like we was all went to Indiana University to hang out with him for a summer, and we was all watching Life with all my other cousins, and I was a Dallas kid. I was a happy-go-lucky, goofy. I wasn't I wasn't a cool kid. I was just a goofy kid at the time. And so, I remember Antoine was like, hey, are we going to, when Life came around, he was like, you know what, we're going to call Lil Tony Can't Get Right. And, from the movie, and that really messed me up. I'm like 14, 15, I'm looking up to him, I'm looking up to my other cousins, and they're like, yeah, we're going to call Lil Tony Can't Get Right. And come that movie, that part, you remember Can't Get Right on Life. Yeah. And that really stuck to my mind. I was like,
you saying that wasn't a compliment?
That wasn't a compliment. And it really, it was, how your cousins clown on you stuff like that, but it really messed me up. And so I was like, you know what? In the back of my mind, every time I accomplished something, like I remember Can't Get Right, not doing right in school. And that's just inspired me to keep going. That just stayed in the back of my mind, I just wanted to prove myself right, and I just wanted to prove my family wrong and stuff like that. And so that's one of the inspirations to get, to get me going.
Man, Tony, man, that's powerful. That's phenomenal. And when we hear this information, especially what Tony is sharing with us, I want the viewing audience just to put the notes down right now. Or if you can't, you might be driving. I don't want you to get into the wreck. I don't want you blaming and suing us because I told you this. But whenever you get a chance, make sure that you understand this, that you need an actual enemy. Patrick B. David wrote a book, Choose Your Enemies Wisely. And sometimes those enemies can be family, friends, and loved ones. It's those who have the chip on their shoulders. Because this is the thing. Because you have an enemy or an ideology, or you can be viewed away, whether it's your race, whether it's where you are on the socioeconomic ladder, whatever that may be, keep in mind that you can do it. But typically, it can be someone who think you can't do it that gets more out of you than people who are telling you, it's okay, little Tony. It's going to be all right, little Tony. When they told him you can't get right, you the person who's constantly messing up or not doing the things that you need to do, that stuck with him. So guess what? When it's the late hours, when it's time to put the extra work in, when he's feeling like quitting, when he's feeling like giving up, that voice in his head pushed him to another level. And that's the same thing. I've had that in my life. Most of the people that I know, that's that edge that they have. And so I want you to understand that. But this is the difference. And this is where mindset comes in. And Tony, I appreciate this, you sharing this with our audience. You got to have the mental fortitude to be able to think to yourself, how do I channel this information? How do I channel that could be viewed as negativity and change my perception and say, you know what? I'm going to allow this to be the fuel to push me to where I need to go. So with that being said, let's learn from Tony Mack on how we can implement that in our lives. They might tell you that you're not supposed to be able to leave that Fortune 500 job. You might want to spend more time with your children if you're a stay-at-home mom or whatnot, or a social engineer or whatnot. It might be somebody who was furloughed and you're still getting yourself together and getting on your feet after the COVID situation. It might be somebody who's on a health journey and you want to be in the best shape in your life and you don't want to be limited by you being 50 plus and think that you can't be in shape. So, Tony, I thank you for sharing that, man, and showing how you took I have a saying, your pain is your product. The pain of being called can't get right. The pain of looking at, hey, I want that too as well. And environment is key too as well. That's another thing that I took what you shared, the power of environment from being in PG area, whatnot, to being at Plano West, and to be able to thrive and excel wherever you were by having people who were able to look at you differently, put you in the right course. How many people fall to the wayside because they're not in the right environment? 100%. Lastly, before we go to the next thing, I just want those out there to pick up on this. It's just like seed time and harvest. Tony is showing us this importance of no matter what seed or how fertile the seed is, if you don't put it in the right soil, that soil I'm referencing to is environment. You can have it right side by side. If I put the seed on cement and I put the seed in fertile ground, that same seed that is full of potential will never reach its full potential if I put it on the sidewalk or concrete. I have to put it in the right fertile ground. And so, Tony, man, that's what I see with you, man, what you've been able to accomplish. And I know you have been able to transfer from one thing. I see from PG to Plano West. And I knew you was a king, but I didn't know you was homecoming king. You know what I'm saying? So then at the same time, I looked at how you transitioned and found your thing, found your knack. Sea bass doesn't mean that it's inferior because it's looking at a lion. If you put the lion in the same environment as the sea bass, it's not going to be as productive as the sea bass. We got to find that thing that works best for you. Boxing was the thing for you. Now, I want to ask you this, Tony, because transitioning and then going into retirement. Now that's something. So what was it like going into business, dealing with retirement? How did you accomplish and go into that particular hurdle?
Man, like one thing I learned early that there's one thing in life that's always going to stay the same. I'm sorry, that's not going to change in life, and that's change.
That's it.
Change is inevitable. You can't escape it. So it's always what's next. And I always had that mindset of never being satisfied. Like I'm just make sure I'm saying this right. I'm very content, but I'm not complacent.
That's it.
And so I'm always thinking about what's next. But when I was during my detached retina surgery, that was one of the worst surgeries ever because if you have the first detached retina surgery I had to put a buckle around my eye to keep my retina flat, and that was cool, but it didn't stay flat. So I ended up detaching it again. Then the second surgery, they ended up having to put a gas bubble in my eye, and so I had to stay with my head down for at least 14 days. I couldn't look up. I had to sleep in a massage bed. I had to put mirrors down to look at the TV, and then that didn't work. And then I had to do another gas bubble surgery, and that didn't work. And my retina didn't detach it. And I had to do an oil bubble. So that was like the fourth surgery, and then the fifth surgery I had to get the oil bubble out. So I had spent like most of my time with my head down, But then after I retired, I kind of got into. After I retired from boxing, I didn't know what I was gonna do next. I was like, what's next? I was like, dang, I was gonna become a world champion, die trying. I was 13-1-1 as a professional boxer, Texas middleweight champion, all within 10 years of boxing. But then my career was over just like that. I was like, yo, I could actually become a champion. I could actually do this. And then, boom, it was all gone. And so after I retired, one of my best friends, Blake King, he was doing Herbalife, and I dabbled into Herbalife, multi-marketing. I liked it, but it wasn't me. Mm-hmm. But the one thing that Herbalife did teach me that I never heard of was personal development, and that's when I learned about Les Brown.
Oh wow!
And I fell in love with it, and I fell in love with Les Brown, and Les Brown introduced me to a few other people, and one of my best friends is Earl Nightingale. I listen to him every day.
Come on now.
And then I ain't learning about Jim Rohn, and then that's what as I'm going through all these surgeries and stuff like that, I'm just listening to Les Brown, then listening to Earl Nightingale about attitude, about not giving up, about staying consistent. And then Les Brown had the similar story to me. Growing up and stuff like that. I mean, and I was fell in love with it. And so I was like, you know what? He was my boxing manager at the time, and my mentor, Nate Pipitone. And I was doing personal training, just teaching boxing, because in boxing, it's a poor man's sport. You don't get paid unless you fight. Mm-hmm. You fight, you get paid. So I was doing personal training on the side. And so I was I was working for a young man, I want to say his name, in his gym. And he was an ex-boxer. He owned a gym. He was an ex-boxer. He was a gym owner, but he wasn't the best guy. Mm-hmm. And so I remember, say for instance, I'm training a cute girl or something like that. He'll just walk by my shoulder, like, hey, Tony, go pick that up and put that over there. Trying to show that he's the man. I'm like, this dude is really, you see me in the middle of a session, he's just trying to, what I'm saying? I'm like, if this idiot could freaking own a gym, I could do it. So I talked to my mentor. I was like, man, I said, Nate, man, I really think I could own my own gym, man. I really think I could do it, man. And he was like, if you're serious, go get an LLC and we can start looking for locations. I was like, what the hell is an LLC? But I did the research and I started looking for LLC and I got it. And then I called my friends and family, like, yo, I'm thinking about going to my own gym. What should I call it? And everybody was giving me different names and stuff like that. And one of my cousins like, yo, why don't you do T-Mac Elite? I was like, T-Mac Elite Training. Come on now. And that's where it started. And then I started looking for locations, and then that's how it all started, man. And then for my situation is different when it came to location, because it was this place called the Den. It was a rugby facility, meant for rugby players, but it's guys from overseas just looking to bring rugby to the United States. And it was right up the street from my gym where I was at last time, where I was working at with the other gym I was talking about, and they were struggling. They didn't, they weren't doing too good with getting people there. It was just an empty place. And so as I was looking for gyms, I was trying to find investors, and I was trying to find people that helped invest me find a gym. And so my other cousin, Angelo, he introduced me to this guy named Adam. And Adam, he did gym equipment for all the big facilities. He was telling me, Tony, he's like, I'm not saying you can't do it, but you don't want to buy a brand new gym and have overhead and I don't know your capital. I don't know how much money you got. He's like, man, you want to be smart. You don't want to be in debt your whole life. He was keeping it real with me.
That's it.
But he said, I do know this place that's not doing too well, and you could go there and ask if you could just move your equipment there and just start there, just start out right. If you want to start out, real slow and start build clientele at that place until you start getting your numbers up and stuff like that. You can start out small. And you'll see if they need help. You can move in, you don't have to own a building. You could just go move in there and just start slow and just build your clientele up. And I went there like the next hour. So as soon as I went to the place and I introduced myself to the guy, I told him my ideas on what I could do. I'm an ex-champion, but I'm looking to become a gym owner and a coach and stuff like that. And it was like, it worked. I started out with like one bag inside the den. And next thing you know, T Mack Elite Training was built from that, and then 8 years later, man, I partnered with amazing people, and T Mack Elite went from 1 bag to 40 bags, and it's just the business just grew like crazy, man. And I'm part owner of the gym, and now, and it's just amazing. Man. It's just how I was working. I'm sorry, it's just everything just came together. It's just God just aligned certain things the way it's supposed to.
Man, and I just look at what you just shared with that, and of the power of speed of implementation. Mm-hmm. Like for those who are listening to this, what is that idea? As we were actually coming into the studio today, we was talking about, as we was going up the elevator, the importance of speed of implementation. Getting stuff done, reaching out to people, following up. He showed that he was serious. By his actions, not just his words. Now, of course, you want to ask, you want to be inquisitive, you want to ask the questions to be able to get the information. But some people, I like to call them, they are professional development junkies. Yes, Darren said it. It's just like they got a bad ice habit or whatnot.
Very true.
Method. So the key is, what do you mean by that, Darren? Because you're going to conferences, and I want you to read, I want you to go to conferences, but you got to implement what Earl Nightingale is talking about. You got to implement and execute on what Les Brown is talking about. You have to be willing to go out there and do it as well. And I'm looking at the story with Tony Mack and seeing how when he was brought up with an idea, pain is your product again. I don't like how this situation is. I don't like how this person is trying to big up me or whatnot. So now all of a sudden I can do it. If this idiot can do it, I can do it. I might get that on the shirt. Yeah, we might have to do something with that. But with that being said, that's the thing that you want to keep in mind for your own self. Don't allow somebody to shortchange you or belittle you or keep you from your dreams and goals. And the idea doesn't have to come from you too as well. He reached out, somebody told him to go get an LLC. He got the LLC immediately. He didn't even know what it was. So that also, for those out there, let me bob and weave. See, I'm working on my game, Tony. I'm working on my game. You bobbing and weaving and whatnot when it comes to this, so you'd be able to say, I got to be willing to learn something different. The personal or professional development allowed for him to do. He went and found that out. Then he was able to, you get more on your way than you do before you start. So by going and then getting wise counsel, led him to the den, allowed for him to be able to build it up. Now we look at the continuous progress and being consistent, allow for you to have over 40 bags, the impact that you're making in the community, team comeback, something that I was able to be a part of and go. I'm seeing you being able to influence in a positive way, Tony. So congratulations to you, brother, on all that too as well. And you've been able to transcend what limits again. It was thought that if you was looked at as mentally retarded, that you couldn't graduate. You're not supposed to make it out the hood. You were able to overcome that. You're not supposed to be a boxer at 20. You overcame that. You weren't supposed to be homecoming king. Let me go back before you're 20. You were able to homecoming. You was able to graduate, having a successful career. Some people would have gave up because of the situation with the retina and things like that, but you didn't. And then even starting the company, you have continued to move forward and not allow the thoughts of others to limit you. So, Tony, can you talk to us about this new phase? Because I'm seeing you not just stop there as a business owner, but you're leveraging your success in business to make a positive impact and to attract the right people into your life. So can you kind of speak to that a little bit too as well?
The new phase I'm in is I'm working on delegating. I'm working on the business, not in the business so much. I'm trusting my team. I have nine employees under me now. I'm in business with Greg McCoy. He's part owner of the gym. He's the owner of the gym, and I just have Team Mack training inside the gym. But we both grew so much together, and it's just that he allowed me to really grow and be let my business thrive together with his business, Hidden Gym, and Team Mack training. He's teaching me so much when it comes to being a gym owner. So shout out to Greg. But right now, man, I'm just trusting my coaches. I'm letting go, and so I can work on the business. So right now, I'm working on my promotion business, Team Mack Promotions. I'm a promoter now. So and right now I'm in the middle. I don't want to say nothing. I want to keep it to myself, but I'm actually writing a book right now.
What?
Yeah, I'm writing. Look, I had to put it on books but in business. Like I literally just got through talking to my writer. We just got off the phone right before I got here.
Awesome.
And we did. So I'm writing a book right now. I was gonna keep it to myself. I ain't want my family, nobody to know. Like I don't want nobody to dictate what my book's going. I want to just speak my truth
on the flow.
And then people asking, so the people I did ask, like, yo, what are you gonna call a book? I was like, I don't know. I'm just gonna let the book become whatever it needs to become. I'm just gonna speak my truth and inspire as many people as possible. So I'm working on that right now. And right now, man, I'm just I know for a fact that I'm an incomplete leader. So I'm learning how to become a great leader. I'm learning how to lead my team so I could break off and have multiple Team Mack trainings. And one thing I did learn, because I did break off a couple of years ago, I opened my second location in Farmersville, and it was doing good. I was there for about a year or 2 years, but it wasn't my community. It wasn't where I wanted to be, and I was struggling out there. And so I got 2 or 3 business coaches. I have multiple mentors. I pay for thinking all the time, just think better. And so one of my coaches, I didn't want to give up that gym so much. I was like, I wanted to stick it through. I was going to go broke trying to figure out how to get that gym going. I felt like a quitter because I wasn't successful in that gym. But my business coach taught me 2 words that changed my life, and it's called course correct. She said, you're not quitting, you're course correcting.
That's it.
And so she finally talked me talked me into closing my gym down out of Farmersville. And once I shut that gym down in Farmersville, like a week later, my business in Allen thrived. I mean, Amari Cooper called me and was like, yo, he found out about me through unlikely source, somebody I met at the Allen Chamber of Commerce when I first opened my business. And he was like, Amari Cooper, he was neighbors with him. He was like, hey, I'm looking for a boxing gym. And he told me, he told him about my gym, about me being a boxing coach. Amari Cooper came in, and the next thing you know, me and Amari built a really good friendship. And then Amari Cooper brought in Michael Parsons. So I'm training Michael Parsons, like him and Michael all the time. And then Michael Parsons brought the whole Dallas defense to the gym. And so I've became a somewhat celebrity trainer, by me shut that wouldn't have happened if I wouldn't have shut that gym down and tried to hold on to something that God didn't have for me. And like a week later, literally, once I shut the gym down, I get a phone call from Mark Cooper. My business has thrived since then. I mean, 2023 was the best year I ever had in business ever because I let go and let God, and that's what happened. So right now, it's so much I'm working on and doing right now. It's pretty cool, man. God is amazing.
Man, come on now. See, that's it. And that course correction. See, perception is everything. Perception is everything. So you can get stuck in trying to prove a point, but you frame your world with your words. So you can be viewed as a quitter, or you could make an adjustment or course correct to make sure that you are positioning yourself to prosper. And that's what we saw with our man, Mr. Tony Mack, is that's what he was able to do. But now all of a sudden you look around by him making that necessary change and being able to focus working on the business, not in the business, led to him being a celebrity coach, being a philanthropist. And also, I love how humble you are. And the reason I bring that up is because you understand strategic partnerships. And that's something I'm catching from the den part to even the educators. The gym, what's going on with the Hidden Gym now? There are so many people that let ego get in the way and pride. I call bad pride, not godly pride, but bad pride, Well, I do it myself. Or I got to get it out the mud. You don't have to do everything out the mud. You can actually partner with somebody that can save you years and save you from bankruptcy and bad debt. You can save so much money and resources and keep yourself sane by partnering with people. And I've watched you be able to do that. And to me, that's phenomenal because there's so many people out there. Do you really want to be the number one? See, entrepreneurship, you can actually partner and get into a system that works better for you, or partner with somebody else that can allow you to be free to focus on what you do well. Because you heard Tony share with us, he's focusing on being a overall better leader. So yes, he might know boxing, but it's one thing to be boxing. Yeah, you might know how to close a few deals. It's one thing to be sales and be able to close the deals. Now you got to understand how to be a sales leader. And then from sales leader to be a CEO. So those are different skills. And if you're not careful, if you're thinking with the mind of the boxer or even just a person in sales, when you're doing a sales leader's role, because you got to get the most out of your team. So now all of a sudden you can think, oh, because the KPIs, the key performance indicators, are different than it is from me boxing and me just in sales. And now I'm a sales leader. Now it changes when I'm a CEO and I'm a /investor. So just knowing that it's different levels and different strokes for different folks, depending on what your role is in this particular season of your life, is everything. And, Tony, before we get out of here, man, I want to ask you, could you speak to the audience about the importance of strategic partnerships?
I learned that two or three things. I learned that I can't get rich unless I enrich other people. And that's one of the things I live by. Like, if I want to get rich, I got to help somebody else get to the next level. And the other thing is I learned that if I'm so worried about me making a profit, I never make a profit. I make a profit for somebody else, become a profit maker for somebody else. I get all the profit in the world I want. And so I'm just focused on other people, man, being a go-giver. Man, one of my favorite books, and just I'm just focusing on just being my most authentic self, and being authentic is by loving on people and finding the right alignments, man, and being a profit maker and just I don't need all the shine, And if I get that shine, thank God. It's pretty cool. I love it, but at the same time, if I, it's not fun if I'm the only one winning. That's not fun at all. Like, I want to, it's not fun. So trusting people is tough. When you're a business owner, you birth something from an idea and you got to let go. It's very tough. But in order to scale, in order to get to the next level, like I was telling, we had a meeting with my team last night. I said, I want to be like Dana White. How did he take the UFC from an idea and really take it to the next level? But Dana White did amazing by putting the right people in place. He trusted his team, and now look, he's a multi-billion-dollar now, and I could do that. I believe I could do it. And so, man, just trust and worried about making other people profit and just helping other people get rich, because you're gonna get rich. And so that's just trust. That's it. Man. Yeah.
And when you think about what you shared with us earlier with Jim Rohn, if you help enough people get what they want, you'll get everything you want in life.
100%.
And that's the key. And so by enriching people, you become rich.
Yeah.
And that's it. And we talked about this a little bit earlier of the human capital. When you
100%.
understand that everything you're looking for is through people. Everything that you're looking for is through people, man.
Mention that.
Now go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
No, that's one thing. Like, I was telling him earlier. I was like, I don't understand how you could be mean to people or just not respect people, because all we have on this earth is people. Like, people that's it. That, like, we gotta, in order to get that promotion, in order to get to the next level, you need someone to help you get to the next level. So you gotta have that never meet a stranger attitude. Like, I never in my life met a stranger. And that's the way I thrive, because I am a business owner. I own a business, you own your business, or most entrepreneurs, but everybody have a boss, and the customer is the boss.
That's right.
All my members is my boss, because I couldn't have nothing without members. And so my members, they know they're my boss because they the ones that feed me. They the ones that I got 10 gyms on the same street as mine, but somehow they come to my gym because everyone is welcomed at my gym. You never get judged at my gym. You're accepted as who you are at my gym, and because you're important. You keep the lights on, and and I need you, and I respect you and I honor you, and so the customers is my boss. My members is my boss. So they should know that I got to honor my members.
That's it.
Honor the people.
If you honor the people, you're gonna get everything you want, and they can feel that.
Yeah,
that's the separator. So there can be big block changes, but if people they want not customer service, they want relationship.
100%.
They want a relationship, and that's what you're doing and giving to them. And T-Mac, if you don't mind, can you share? I know you got an event coming up. You might not sure, so before we air that. So if you want to share anything about the
most
event
definitely
that you have coming up.
I got so this Saturday we have a all ladies boxing class 10 a.m. at my gym, and then for women only. And August 17th is the self-defense seminar for women only at my gym. And you can follow me at T-Mac Elite Training on Instagram, and then my website tmacelitetraining.com. And also September 14th we have Fight Night. It's a black tie event with Tower Club. It's T-Mac Elite Promotions putting it on with Tower Club on the 48th floor. You overlook the entire city of Dallas. Black tie, dress to impress. You cannot overdress. It's where you show out that night, and you get to watch some live professional boxing September 14th. And so that is what we got going on right now. And then, and if you not a lady, if you want to learn how to box, all levels of fitness is welcome. Every Saturday morning, we have an intro to boxing class, 8:30 a.m. at my gym in Allen, right off 109 North Greenville Avenue, Suite A, Allen, Texas. Intro to boxing every Saturday morning.
Awesome, man. Well, T-Mac, I appreciate your time. It's so many gems that you drop to us. You're the true American dream story, and it allows for us to know in modern times that it just didn't stop with Les Brown, that individuals just like you are partnering with people, valuing people. Your attitude determines your altitude, and we see you going to higher heights in new dimensions, man. So salute to you, brother.
Thank you
for coming on to the show. For those who are listening, make sure that you subscribe to us at Books and Business Podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcasts. Also, make sure that you follow us on self-published, the letter N, 30 days on all social media platforms. We would love to be able to connect with you and be able to share with you how to let your next move be your best move. Until next time, be blessed and be great, and we're out. Hey, it's your main man, Darren M. Palmer. Hey, I want to reach out to you. For those business owners out there, would you benefit by being able to have the money that you are making, the hard-earned dollars that you made, to have them in tax-free vehicles? Would you want to grow your money and have a better rate than you will have in a savings account that you got at your local bank that's less than 1%? If you want to know more about being your own bank and how to be able to leverage these vehicles, reach out to us today. We would love to be able to connect with you at prosperitypartnersagency@gmail.com, or you can reach out at 281-630-2730 to me personally, because I want to help you have clarity and how to be able to have clarity of vision, which will allow for you, your family, and your business and your community to be able to accomplish your known goal. Until next time, be blessed and be great.